guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's that time of the month where we talk about my read of the month. So it was a bit of a tough one because this month I did complete 3 books. Yay! But okay, yeah, but some of them I did start in Feb, just finished them in March. So I finished More Myself by Alicia Keys, which was such a beautiful read. I finished The 5 a.m. Club, which is the book that I'm going to be doing today, as you can see from the title. And then I also finished Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. Let me tell you, Shonda is such an interesting woman. But then anyways, let's get into today's video, The 5 a.m. Club. Now, this is a very popular book. I've heard of this book for years and years, and I've always wondered about what is so... It's just like The Alchemist, right? I'm like, okay, what happens there? But also like, I feel like such a hypocrite sitting here and talking about all the lessons that I learned from the book simply because I haven't necessarily implemented them. I'm not waking up at 5 yet. So that feels a bit wrong, but I mean, this is the goal, right? This is what I'm working towards, and I think that should count for something. Anyways, into the book. So, The 5 a.m. Club. Basically, the way that Robin Sharma wrote it, Robin Sharma, I did not expect this from him. This is my very first book by him. It's written like a novel. So it's written like a novel. You follow this mentor who is teaching and mentoring these two people. We have an artist and an entrepreneur. And in his mentoring, they travel the world and they go to different, travel destinations. And in each one, they learn the lessons of the 5 a.m. Club, the reason why it is important to adopt this habit and how it can change your life. Essentially, that's what happens. And it was so interesting because it had interesting elements. Okay, it had drama, it had action. There were times where there were bodyguards shooting, it had romance. So the artist and the entrepreneur fell in love, and by the end of the book they were having a whole wedding, which was so cute. So it has romance, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. So how I'm going to structure today's video is that I'm just going to talk about some of the main themes that I got from the book, and then at the end I'm going to talk about some random parts of the book that really hit me hard. Okay, so one big theme that I could say I took away from the book is that you must do the hard thing. Just do the hard thing, the thing, do it. And some of the quotes that I got go with that theme, I just had to choose. It says that the smallest of implementations is always grander than the grandest of intentions. I was like, a lot of parts of this book felt like I was getting a smack in my head. It's like, okay, so you intend to wake up at 5, but where's the implementation? Where's that at? They formed the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do. And this quote speaks about successful people, right? They formed the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do. I mean, we all have things that we don't like to do, but we know that we have to do in order to be successful. And basically the book is just saying you just gotta do them. And if you don't, then don't be surprised when life doesn't turn out the way you want it to, when you don't get the desired results. Do not be surprised. You literally have nobody else to blame but yourself, right? And then another big theme was make excellence your brand. Like, I put it that way because that's how Mom usually puts it, make excellence your brand, or she usually says excellence is my brand. But that was an overriding theme for sure in the book. And a quote that I loved said that each of you has a call on your lives. Every one of you carries an instinct for excellence within your spirits. And I particularly liked this line because, I mean, sometimes it can feel like excellence is for certain people and that excellence is to be achieved by a certain group of the chosen people. But really, what this is saying is that we all have an instinct for excellence, which means that all of us really want to excel in whatever industry or whatever path we are in. We all want to excel. Nobody is okay with just being mediocre. But the truth is, a lot of us end up being just average because we don't hold ourselves to this standard, right? So I think just first step is understanding that we all have that within us, which means you also have that within you, which means that you owe it to yourself to realize that potential. You owe it to yourself to put in the hard work, right? To put in the hard things, the hard work, the things that are not fun to do but you know are great, the things that your brain fights you with, you know, put them in so that you can reap excellence, you know. And then the last part under making excellence your brand, it says that we magnetize ourselves to excellent rewards by raising the value of ourselves. This one, by raising the value of ourselves. So the onus is on us, right, to raise the value. I remember I was once watching a video by Bumi and Brendan says that one thing that he's learned is that in whatever room he walks in whatever situation he's in, he must add value, right? Don't be okay with being the dead weight of the group. Don't be okay with being the slagger, the one who delays the entire group, the one who holds a. Don't be okay with being the anchor, okay? Add value wherever you are. And in order for you to be able to add value, you have to invest in yourself. Add value to yourself. That looks different for different people. It's reading books. It's getting that degree or that qualification. It is going out and doing the work, right? Practicing that skill. It's that. Add value to yourself. Do not just sit around and hope that genius will fall from the sky to your lap, right? You have to work for it. So I think that one was a huge one, that as people we need to start thinking like that. How can I add value to myself so that I can be of value in the rooms that I want to find myself in the tables I want to be seated on, you know? How do I add value to myself so that I can add value? Basically, you know, those were the two main themes that I got from the book. He said, Robin Sharma said the same thing over and over in so many different ways, that by the time you're done with the book, you're like, oh, sherbets, how could I be anything else but excellent, right? So now just to get into the practicality of the 5 a.m. club. So in the book, he talks about waking up at 5, but essentially it's about waking up with the sun, which will be different in different seasons, right? 5 a.m. is just, you know, the guideline essentially. So he talks about the importance of that, and what it's about is giving yourself time before the rest of the world wakes up, or rather before you have to give yourself all your time to anything or anyone else. So before you have to deal with family, if you have kids, before you have to deal with kids, before you have to do with work, whether it's schoolwork or work, you know, before you have to handle anything else, giving yourself some quiet time to just be with yourself. That's the whole point, right? And then in him explaining, it's not enough to just wake up at 5, but you also have to know, we're waking up at 5 and what are we doing? So this is the guideline that is given. Again, it's just a guideline, right? You get to adapt it to your own lifestyle and routine so that it makes sense for you. So in the guideline, he has the 20-20-20 formula. So an hour, right, which has 60 minutes. So it's 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. In the first 20 minutes, he calls it the first pocket, which is about moving, right? So in moving, that's where you do physical exercise, preferably something intense, because it's going to be, you know, a short period. And then he explains why this is important. As the generation that did LO and PE and all of that, we've heard all about the benefits of exercise, but just to go over some of the things that he mentioned in the book, right? So it says that it cleanses your cortisol level. Now, cortisol is a stress hormone, and okay, just a disclaimer, this is not my field of speciality, okay? So please do your own research as well. So it cleanses your cortisol. That's your stress your stress hormone, which is apparently at its highest in the morning, and so exercising helps reduce that, right? And then it also increases your BDNF flow, and this is basically, I want to say, a chemical in the body. Anyways, it helps you think better, it helps you process better, and it does this by accelerating the formation of neural connections in the brain. And then it raises your dopamine, right? The feel-good hormone. So you're in a better mood or whatever. Your serotonin rises and your metabolism elevates. And then this helps because obviously you focus better, your brain is optimized, you have more energy, less stress, and it helps you live longer. So those are all the benefits of exercise, and he recommends that it be the very first thing that you do. And the second thing that you do, it is the second pocket, which is to reflect, right? So in the reflect pocket, this is where we have journaling, meditating, praying, contemplating, whatever makes sense for you, right? Whatever works for you. And this one helps with gratitude, awareness and mindfulness, your wisdom, your serenity, things like those, right? It helps put your soul in a bit of a balance. You've worked out your physical, and now your soul and your spirit is in a bit of a balance. And some benefits of having time to do that in the morning, right? It is that it makes you a more positive person. It makes you a person who's less reactive, right? Because when you just wake up and you just go straight into the world, Kumana, sometimes when you wake up in the morning and it's rush, that's how you start, and then just go through your whole day like this, like rush. This helps you with mindfulness once again. And when you are mindful and aware, you are less reactive, right, to situations or people or things that life throws at you, but rather you're able to attend it or attend them from a thoughtful place, right? And then the third part of the morning routine of the 20-20-20 formula is grow. The third pocket is all about growth. This is where you review your goals. Let's look at what it is that we're trying to achieve. And then, are we getting closer? How do we get closer? And more than that, this is where you read your books. This is where, or if you're not about reading the books, this is where you listen to an audiobook, a podcast, whatever that looks like for you. It will look different for different people, but then the whole point is that this is where you grow your thinking capacity. This is where you grow knowledge. This is all about growth and elevation, because that's what we're about. Okay, that's the practical implementation of the 5 a.m. club. Essentially, that is a very summarized version. He talks about a lot in the book. So if you're thinking of joining the 5 a.m. club or the early rising club or whatever, those are the three things you need to think about, right? You should think about the fact that physical activity for 20 minutes, reflecting for 20 minutes, however the reflection looks like for you, and then growth. How would you do it in your life? What would make sense for you in your life, With that being said, if you're enjoying the video so far, please don't forget to like, to subscribe if you're not part of the channel already, and to leave a comment down below. Do you think this is something practical? Do you think this is something you see yourself ever being able to implement in your life? I know for me, I would love to get to a point where I'm living the 5 a.m. club. Now we're going to talk about random moments in the book that really got to me, that I feel like, I took away. One of the things that really got me was that a problem will persist until you get the education it showed up to bring. And I was like, I thought about my recurring problems, my recurring issues, the patterns that I always find myself in, They call them karmic cycles, I think. I think about them and I'm like, sherbets. That probably keeps happening to me because I'm not learning what I'm supposed to learn. So now I'm just like, okay, what are you here to teach me? Because if I don't learn what you are here to teach me, I'm gonna have to experience you all over again, and I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to live through that. So anyways, it was a bit of girl. And then another one is abundance is nature's way. There's no scarcity of flowers, lemon trees, and stars in the sky. I mean, I just, the whole scarcity mentality that we have as humans, that nothing is ever enough, you need to get more and more and more, it is against universal laws, because like it says, nature's way is that of abundance. And one thing about the scarcity mentality that humans have is that it gives me anxiety. It gives me so much anxiety, especially when it comes to money. Hey, I was talking to Anati the other day. I'm like, nothing gives me anxiety like the fact that every time you speak to someone, the one thing they have to say is that I don't have enough money. We need money. Imali ya short. Imali ayiko. Okay, maybe ayiko nyani imali, but I'm not trying to sit around and talk about how there's no money all the time. Mandase. No, we definitely need to change the way that we see things and view things, and speak of things. This one, it says, it was a part that spoke about namaste, right? So namaste, which is Sanskrit for I bow to the divine in you. Guys, I think when I read this, I got a bit teary because I was like, oh damn. You know, my biggest passion, I'm coming to realize, is studying about the human condition, the human condition, the human mind, and how it interacts, how we interact with one another. And some of the biggest thing is just knowing and understanding that we all, every single human being, whether poor, rich, educated, lame, whatever, right? Wherever you fall on the spectrum, every human being is put on this earth by the divine, and just by virtue of existing, you are worth it. You are dignified. You are to be treated with respect, because the universe saw it fit to have you here today. So that, I think, for me, inspires why I want to be that kind of person that sees people, that sees Undu firstly, just because you are a divine being and you are to be seen. Anyways, this is a greeting. Yeah, it is a greeting. I remember I did Hindi once, and how we greeted our teacher was, Namaste Guruji. And for the first time, I learned that it means I bow to the divine in you. And then, I'm also Zulu, and that's how we also greet in Zulu. We say Sawubona, which means we see you, right? Someone explained that the we is because Zulu people, they believe that even though you come as one, you stand as tens of thousands. It's just weird because that's a quote from, I think, Oprah, that she got from Maya or something. But the whole point is that they believe that their ancestors are with them always, and therefore that's why they say, we see you. Sawubona, me and my entire clan, or my entire family lineage, or whatever, all of the people that are with me, we see you. And it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. It honestly challenged me when I read it. I was like, I want to get to a level of mindfulness and awareness that when I greet anyone, I greet them with namaste in my head. Okay, I'm not gonna say namaste to people. Next thing, I'm gonna think I'm a hippie. Maybe I am a little bit, but I'm not gonna actually say namaste. Just like in my head, when I say hello, in my head I'm saying namaste. And take the time, even if it's just 2 seconds, take the time to really see you and see the divine in you. We go through life overlooking so many people, whether it's the janitor, whether it is the beggar on the street. We go through life just overlooking them, and sometimes just the people that are too hard to actually see, right? Does that make sense? I'm not going to get into that, but my point is, namaste. Lastly, trust always that life has your back, even if what's unfolding makes no sense. I mean, I probably, you know, the first time I read that line, I had an emo moment. And when I was going through my notes last night, putting together this, I also got emo because I had forgotten about the line. Then I read it and I'm like, shizzle, my nizzle. I think it's mostly because right now, in the stage that I'm at in my life, not much is making sense. Not much, honestly, not much is making sense. It feels like my life is in shambles. I say that way too often. But then, anyways, this is also a theme that I got from The Alchemist. Would you guys like me to do The Alchemist? I read it like probably 2 years ago, but this was definitely an overriding theme in The Alchemist. Trust life, trust providence, trust the universe, trust God. I'm gonna end this video here. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next time.